your pony knowledge by. Oh, better. I got a place where winning ain't tough to do. You wanna be cool, stable too. Your horse racing fantasy come true. But no, stable too.
Download the Stable Duel app and play today.
Well, we're here. Twitter is still alive and rolling. If you're watching us on Twitter, it's like the Titanic right now. It feels like for all the folks who are big Twitter users here. One of them is my friend, the Sniper. But what's great, we're coming to you on Facebook, on YouTube, and we usually post this on a few other places. Thanks so much for hanging out with us on Friday morning. This weekend in Stable Duel, we got my man Barry Spears, the Sniper, here alongside Gino Bacola. We are ready to be bringing you Friday and Saturday best bets. Oh, just a quiet little week in horse racing, huh?
Yeah, nothing's going on. It was so dead yesterday. I don't even remember anything. It was unmemorable. Just
nothing at all popping off. Nonetheless, we'll be popping off today, this morning, trying to get you all big prices. That's what we do here on this show. It's not like any other horse racing show. We don't BS you. We don't try to just give you a bunch of winners picked that are 6-5 so we can pad our statistics and say, hey, look, we gave you 5 winners last week. We'll go some days and we won't give you a winner because we're only giving you prices. We're only giving you legitimate horses that are less likely winners of the races, but they're the horses that you need to bet if you want to be successful, if you want to make money. And heck, they're the horses that you need if you're playing Stable Duel. Because in Stable Duel, you can't just pick the chalk all the way through. You're going to be forced a few times throughout the days, throughout the play some of the bigger prices. And we got the Sniper out there who's rocking the beautiful creamsicle. Oh, look at the creamsicle Tampa. Those uniforms were fantastic. And that was one of the worst teams, that one creamsicle team. That first,
they're awful.
When they talk about the worst teams in the history of sports, that one Tampa team is up on that list. No doubt about it.
Horrible, dude.
You are always looking sharp, my good man. So
it's cold. You see, I finally got something to cover myself.
Yeah.
It's cold for Florida. I mean,
I'm at 48 right now. I got the jacket on too. So yeah I got the jacket on over my one of my favorite Stable Duel shirts, the old size doesn't matter, but lengths do, which is a great one, right? As you continue to look down all the way. So Barry and me today, we'll be bringing you some best bets from Gulfstream Park for Friday and Saturday, and for Del Mar for Friday and for Saturday. So we'll dive into a little bit of both, and we'll get you all pumped up and set up for the Stable Duel games for this weekend. So one reminder before we dive in, here is a look at the Stable Duel schedule, the menu, so to speak. Friday, you can play at Gulfstream in a triple up contest. You can play at a traditional $20 contest at Gulfstream. Del Mar has a $40 game, and Hawthorne also has a game you can play today. For tomorrow, Del Mar, Gulfstream, they will be the major focus. So for us, when we're doing our handicapping, we're very lucky that Daily Racing Form gives us the chance to dive into their past performances and look at the charts, the race replays, the pedigree information, everything we need. So for you, do you have Gulfstream for both, or just for Saturday?
Both days.
Both days. Okay, so yeah, let's start at Gulfstream because I've got both for Gulfstream too. I'll be looking in the 6th and the 7th for Gulfstream for a little later on today. Where are you going to start for Gulfstream?
Race 4.
Race number
4, 5, and 9 I have today.
4, 5, and 9. So we'll roll through most of the back part of the Friday Gulfstream Park card. Get out those past performances for Gulfstream, and if you're following along with us and you have a play that you like today at Gulfstream Park, let us know. But you know the rules. It's got to be 5-1 and up. We want the no chalk zone here. We're not just trying to stack winners. We want some really, really nice prices. And if you're going to give us a little information, let us know why you like who you like. Barry, why don't you let us know the why in race number 4 as we dive into Gulfstream Park for today?
Yeah, race 4 is a 6 furlongs on the main track. There's a lot of dirt races, I noticed. Less synthetic.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know the turf is coming along pretty good down there. and should be ready for, like mid to late December. So it should be ready to go soon. But now we're on the dirt. This is a 35,000 non-winners of 2 races. It's kind of a difficult race because there's horses coming in from different places. You got maiden winners, you got uh, horses that have been running at higher conditions dropping down. Um, but I ended up on number 7, Blustery. This horse has some races. I mean, back in April of last year, they after this horse broke his maiden or her maiden, they jumped this horse into a grade 2 and got thumped by Kathleen O. Then went into an optional claim for 75,000 at a mile and just didn't do anything. Dropped this horse in for this level and ran better. Then laid this horse off from May to October, showed some speed, which that's really where things kind of pick up for me. I see that the horse came off the layoff, showed some speed. Second time, this horse may have a little bit of a class edge over these.
Trying to figure out just where she fits, right? Yeah, and like this, it's not linear. I think a lot of times we forget in horse racing, it's not just a straight line to get to where you are, right? It's trying to figure out exactly where you fit. Here, there, trial and error, sprint, dirt, route, long, grass. You try everything till you figure it all out. For a filly like this, she has a good effort at Gulfstream, and then you get excited, but she's probably always belonged in a spot
sprinting
like this.
and similar spot to this. Yeah. I mean, they tried going long and way over her head. And now that she's back with her friends, especially, what really piqued my interest is the running styles. This horse doesn't need the lead, and I think there's quite a bit of speed here for her to run at. There's another horse that I kind of gave a real long look to, and that's number 6, Maracas Bay, who's getting a subtle makeover package, going to the go-to rider with Safi's go-to rider and Edgard Zayas. But I thought this one lacked a little bit of experience, so I went with, obviously the higher price, 10-1 on the morning line. But I think this is a really good spot for a horse like Blustery, who's probably a little bit under the radar in this group.
Blustery 10-1 will only cost you 1,000 to use in your stable dual lineup. Blustery, the number 7 in race number 4. But Barry's got another one right next door, right? 4, 5, and 9, you said?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
That's
sir.
how we do it. I like to play the double.
The back-to-back double, the traditional doubles, always.
Doubles,
absolutely.
Straight up doubles. And, funny enough, we're going with number 7 in that race.
There we go.
Cool Star. And, this horse got claimed last time after a pretty good run as the favorite, which, I'm not really fond of, when horses lose as the choice. And let me just set this one up here. This is just a straight 6,250 non-winners of 3. So it's a real simple condition. I've noticed actually that Gulfstream has really dumbed down the conditions and made them really simple and kind of more competitive. Not just singling out certain horses. So it's opening up and it's making for better, more competitive races. That being said, this is kind of a tough race, and I thought there was a lot of speed. Cool Star has some running lines where he kind of just not stalks. He's a little bit farther back than a stalker, but close enough to where he can outfinish some horses coming from way back. And I think that's the kind of trip that this horse is going to get. Pretty consistent around the board with all of his races. He doesn't really run a bad race. I think the 2 that are really bad lately were on the synthetic. And, this is another case of the horse getting back to doing what they're supposed to be doing in the right spot. There's enough speed in here for this horse to run at. You got long shots, inexpensive speed in Exalted Charm, the 3, the 4, Leanne's Warrior, even the outside horse. Frolic Man should show some speed, and one of the favorites, North Caucasus. So there's plenty to run at here, and I think this is a good spot for Cool Star.
I don't know if you ever were a friend, you watch Friends, or if you were a fan of
Sure.
the show, but there what reminded me of when you were setting up Cool Star. There, you're talking about how you want to be a stalker, but not too close. You know, it reminded me of the episodes when Sean Penn was in Friends,
Yes.
and he was stalking Phoebe. He was in love with Ursula, but she would have him stalk her, but not like too close, you know, and he would kind of hide behind things and pop out and then walk there. I was like, that's Cool Star. He's a stalker, but he's not quite
too close.
He's
Yeah.
Sean Penn in Friends. That's how I was thinking of him.
That's good.
So when he wins later, I'm going to be thinking about that, and I'm going to be laughing when we do Cool Star there in the 5th for the sniper. And then we'll give you like a nice little pick 3, because I'll go right next door, Barry, to race number 6 for us on the Friday card over at Gulfstream Park. And I'm going to bounce onto the synthetic. We have a maiden special weight race here going 1 mile and 70 yards. And honestly, you know, the 2 Double Cosmo Girl I looked at initially, and I thought, yeah, this horse probably is a little soft to fit in this group. Then you look at this horse a second time, and you kind of compare to the rest of the field. I actually think she fits pretty well. What I like about her is she checked a couple of the boxes. So for me, I want to know that she's okay enough on the synthetic to be competitive in here. And I actually got 3 consecutive races where she showed she can run well on the synthetic at pretty nice prices. She was double-digit odds 3 times in a row, and she ran 3rd. She was only beaten a half a length at like 49-1 behind a next out winner. She came right back in the next race. She finished a decent 4th. Then she came back again, and she finished 3rd right after that on the synthetic. So she checks the box that synthetic, no problem for her. Then what she does, they stepped her up in August and September against maiden special weight runners. And she actually proved that she's doing well enough to compete with maiden special weight runners. So now she checks that box. So earlier in her career, you know, when she was sprinting on the dirt at Tampa, I don't know if she could compete with those horses maybe at that time. But when you move to Gulfstream on the synthetic, you face softer, then you build a little confidence up. You stepped back up with maiden special weights. I know she's fine on the synthetic. I know she's fine against this level. So why can't she run well against a group like this at a pretty big price of 15-1? If you're just playing her off of her speed figures, she's right there with a lot of this group. And I'd imagine, you know, a horse like Ganesh is going to take some money. A couple will take money in here, but I don't think it's a bad spot for Double Cosmo Girl.
No, it's not. You know, and you're going to get a horse in the 7, Curlin's Colleen.
Yep.
That's going to take a lot of money.
Absolutely.
And the outside horse who's had opportunities, I mean, at least 4 out of the 7 races to win, and just hasn't gotten it done. I don't like the post. I just think that horse is real vulnerable, probably at a short price. And, you know, Ganesh will probably take some money, but no world beaters here. So
no, the 2's got some versatility too.
Right.
She showed a little speed last time out. We know that she can come from off the pace. The blinks come off. She fits. She's 15-1, so she's only going to cost you $500 in your stable dual lineup. She's a very nice price. She's been honest. Let's give Double Cosmo Girl a shot in here in race number 6. So you got Double Cosmo Girl right there, and then we'll go I'll go right next door and do the traditional double like the sniper. We'll go to the number 4 in here. First Rule. Like, First Rule is not a horse who's been consistent as of late, right? He's got running lines, long running lines, layoff lines. But like, let's just look at Hercules for an example. I mean, he beat Hercules, and Hercules is going to probably be favored in this race. Hercules is the 7 who's 2-1 on the morning line. The issue with First Rule is just he has a tough time staying on the track. That's been his issue all along. He'll run, then he'll have a kind of a clunker, and he'll have time off. And he's back in with Florida breds, and I really think he could sit a nice trip. He should be able to sit a little bit closer here. I think his last couple races are a bit deceiving because they're sprinting and they're going pretty quick. I think he should be up close and forwardly placed in here. I think he sits 2nd or 3rd. First Rule, the number 4, is 5-1. I don't want to take a short price on him. I want him to be like 4 or over if I'm playing to win, but stable duel, 5-1. gimme first rule here. So that's 4 in a row for us. Races 4, 5, 6, 7. Sniper, why don't you close us out in the 9th?
Yeah, this is the bailout.
Bailout Barry.
2 days, one for tomorrow too.
Beautiful.
But this is also a bet back.
Nice.
From last week. Number 1, Causalistic.
Yeah, there we go.
I like the way that horse ran. I mean, he ran a bang up third. Was bet down quite a bit. Was in the right spot and just didn't fire. But I appreciate 2 things. Horse got claimed by Anthony Margata, and they stepped this horse up in class, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
Just in name only, because this is a restricted or a condition claimer, as non-winners of 2. But coming from an open 62.5 or 62.5, 6,250. This is the right spot.
Yep.
It's
a sneaky good move. It really is.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
And the horse has the numbers to compete with everybody here. 15-1 on the line seems a little bit high, but I don't think this horse is going to get bet down too much.
No,
because there's the line is a little bit off, because the horse number 8, Officer Country, does kind of like the synthetic. Even though it doesn't win much, he runs very, very well and probably will get some action. You got a horse in Plenum who hasn't been out since September 2021, who was running great up until that point on the turf. No starts on the synthetic. So that's kind of a wild card, although the trainer does pretty well on synthetic. But you can make a case that horse might not be ready to go this trip first time out. So it just seems everything is falling right into place for this horse. I don't particularly like the inside post for a horse at all on the synthetic. I like them swinging wide, but I think the jock can get this one out. Sam Camacho is smart enough and good enough to get this horse out and closing late, and I think we'll get a good showing, especially at 15-1. If we get 15-1, this might be the play of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Causalistic for the Sniper, 15-1 to close it out on the Friday card a little later on today. So good luck to everyone playing the races from Gulfstream Park.
I can say also, win, lose, or draw, I'm probably not playing this horse anymore. Even if this horse wins, I'm probably gonna.
This is a spot. It's a spot play.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, and that's the one thing as gambler, as you become a more serious gambler, you become. You're a fan of horses and you're a fan of, of racing, but you become more of a spot player. Especially like in football right now, every week you have to be willing to say, "Oh, this is a great spot for this team with the matchup," and then be willing to know that as soon as they win big, the next week you're playing against them, because everyone's going to jump in on them. Everybody watches that Monday Night Football game. They see the winner of that game because it's on national TV. Everybody sees it. And whoever wins that game the next week, they're a little bit overvalued. Their line is just a little bit higher than it should. And you have to be willing to just say, "Hey, I loved them last week, not this week." Boom.
Yeah, the now or never.
Yep. That's just the way you have to be willing to do that. You have to be disciplined. And we will dive on over to Del Mar now for Friday. Del Mar, a little earlier first post for the Del Mar, the fall meet. They start at 12:30 local time, 3:30 Eastern time. I have some plays in the 5th, 7th, and the 8th, Sniper, and you are looking at 5 and 7. So we are both in the same rate. And honestly, even if we're not on the same horses, I will say it was harder at Del Mar to get some of the bigger prices, and mainly because there are a couple races where it's like a bunch of 7-2 shots that look pretty competitive, right? Not that there'll be a bad betting race, but it was just harder to find a little bit bigger prices throughout the Del Mar card. Talk to us about who you're looking at in race number 5.
I got a feeling we might be on the same horse here.
Okay.
Which is a main special weight, 5 furlongs on the turf for fillies. And I ended up on number 7, Seek the Truth.
Oh, okay, nice. So you're on the 7.
Wong barn.
I'm on a different one. Talk to us about Seek the Truth.
Seek the Truth is, out of violence, or actually out of customer base. This horse is pretty well bred.
Yes.
And has some stakes winning turf siblings. And I think this horse merits a really good shot. In particular, I like the November 5th work and the October 30th work. Both
and
from
what's
the gate.
What's nice about customer base, not to interrupt,
Oh
you,
yeah,
just while we pulled it up, is what was cool about this one. They win first time out sprinting, and then immediately next time out win going long. And then of course you see all the great success on the turf. So you're checking like all those boxes for what you're looking for.
Precociousness, this horse,
class,
ability to win
turf.
First time, and turf. Yep.
And like sprint. Yeah. And being able to go a shorter distance if need be.
That's what we're looking for here.
Yeah.
I think those two workouts were really telling. Showing that this horse has some speed and ability from the gate, which, for me means that the horse has some ability when they break well and work well from the gate. This could be any kind. I mean, this race seems really wide open. There's no way you could bet, the Wesley Ward horse Playlist, the 3.
No. Well, because I'm on a big price too. I'm on the 2 Magazine. We both went for 12 to 1 shots in here, and that's why, we're looking at this race as a really fun betting race. Magazine is interesting because I just don't think a lot of people will look at this barn as a barn and bet this barn a whole ton. The Reed France barn has actually had some pretty good success recently with their first time starters. And what I like to see is it's not like a big number that's going to smack everyone over the face, right? It's just 2 for 26 over the last 5 years based on the Daily Racing Form database. But let's dive into it a little bit more. Actually, when we look at it, it's 2 for the last 8. So they've been very good. 2 for the last 9, and those winners are at 4 to 1 and 9 to 1. So
looking for
that good recent form with first time starters. So check the box that we know the barn can get them ready to go. Now let's look at the pedigree. Curlin's Fox was a horse who won first time out of the box. Curlin's Fox was 4 for 10. All 4 wins came on the turf, including turf sprints going down the hill at Santa Anita. Multiple stakes winner, precocious, can sprint.
Yeah, this horse was always well, man. I remember this horse distinctly back in 2015.
Yeah, this was a nice horse. Always was.
She was really good. Yeah,
she had some I think for her it was just sort of distance. She could get the mile at the right type of circumstance.
Right in the yeah.
She was good down the hill. That was good for her. It was a perfect layout for her. And I think they've only had this is the second sib to run. The only other sib raced 1 time. Tough to really get a good gauge or a good feel for it. I think Magazine is a little bit interesting in here, kind of sneaky. 2-year-old daughter of Gunrunner. Barry and I both attacking this race, and we're both looking for some 12 to 1 shots that'll only cost you $750 in your stable dual lineup. So you give me a 12 to 1 shot, I see you a 12 to 1 shot with Magazine. As we continue along here on the Friday Del Mar.
Actually, while we're thinking about it, stable, you could probably double up there. I mean,
right?
If you really want, and like those
8 race card
1 shots,
absolutely. It's an 8 race card that only costs you $1,500. You've got 2 horses down. Now all of a sudden you've got 8,500. You've got 35,000 left because you're 1,500s off. So I mean you are in really, really nice shape there to continue to build your lineup. And I think my math was even off wonky there. You set yourself up with a couple bombs in 1 race. You can really, really build around that. So good luck today in race number 5, but we move along to Del Mar and the 7th race in here. Talk to us about race number 7.
Race 7 is a start allowance 50,000 and going a mile on the turf, which is interesting. But I ended up on number 16 Drama.
Oh, we're together. Yes, we are.
I just think this horse has a lot of upside.
Yeah.
There's no reason why this horse can't stretch out as a nice
and be right on the front end, right? Or
right.
Very
There's
close
there's not really much speed here. there's really not much to go on. I mean, you could say Flame Magoon, the 4 could go to lead, but I don't think they really want to.
No. And even if I think we are in the top 2, right? And what I love is that we've seen some versatility. We can break right on top and go if need be, but this horse has won and shown like the ability to perform in different ways. Had a bunch of trouble back on July the 3rd. Second start off the short break. I just love the fact that they ship out here. I think it's a really strong move to put this horse out here in a good spot. I think Teen Drama really, really fits well in this spot, Sniper.
Yeah, could be a lone speed situation. I mean, just naturally from running in those 5.5 furlong races should place this horse either on the lead or really close to it, but I don't really see much speed here. So if this one goes wire to wire, don't be surprised.
Shout out to our buddy Matt DeSantis. We love it when we can all come together on a horse in race number 7 today at Del Mar. It's the number 6 Teen Drama. 8-1 will only cost you $3,000 in your stable dual lineup. Teen Drama for myself and the Sniper. So that's Friday for Del Mar. You have a couple different stable dual games on Friday for Del Mar, for Gulfstream Park. Good luck getting involved there as we turn the page from Friday to Saturday. Let's head back over to Gulfstream Park for Saturday. I'm looking at races 5, 6, and 8 for Gulfstream Park for Saturday. Sniper, my man, talk to us a little bit about Gulfstream Park for Saturday. Who are you looking at? Which races are you looking?
We're doing the Ricky Bobby.
First and last, baby. First and last, baby. So open things up for us. We've got maiden 12-5 claimers.
Yes, in race 1, I'm going with the outside horse number 8, Impetuous Soul. And this is one this angle I've talked about many times on here. Second time at the level.
Yep.
This horse is dropping into 12-5 on October 22nd. Ran a nice race on the synthetic going a mile and 70. Finished strong. Second time at the level. This is go time.
Yep. That's all. It just found the right spot.
Yep. Yeah. And the synthetic going long is also good because this horse ran a decent race back in October on Halloween 2021. Kind of showed some zip and went to the front, but I think they kind of maybe something is obviously going wrong with this horse because
this is the first time he's ever going to put 2 starts together.
Right, exactly, and that's definitely another good sign.
Yeah,
is that the horse is feeling good. The workouts, everything kind of falls in line. So there's not much in here to beat anyway, and I think this horse is just the right one at the right time.
So shout out to our boy Jake with Thrilling Picks. Jake, we'll have to get you to come and check in with us one of these next few weeks and dish out some plays with us. Hope you're having a nice one. Talked about how we're both on a little drama, little Johnny drama, little Johnny drama earlier on. Thanks so much, Jake, for hanging out with us. So that's the opener. That's how you're going to kick
Gilmore
off.
Girls, right? The teen drama.
That's some teen drama right there. Beautiful. You're absolutely right. And I told you, I think the new one right now I'm watching is Everwood. I'm watching Everwood, where right now young Efren, 16-year-old, he is sleeping with the babysitter. She's 20. She's a few years older. So there's a crazy dynamic going on there. I love those kind of shows like that. Like I said, drop me into the world, in the high school world, 16 to 18 years old. Give me a fish out of water, bad boy from the wrong side of the tracks type story, and just sign me up for one of those.
Like Marty McFly.
There we go. Dun, 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 as we go to the future, and that future is race number 5, Gulfstream Park on Saturday. Let's take a look at the number 6 in here. So I'll be looking at races 5, 6, and 8. And in the 5th race, the number 6 horse is actually just coming out of better races. Honestly, it's kind of simple. A lot of my reasoning and analysis with this one. This is we're in the 5th race. So we're going 7 furlongs on the dirt here. Optional 25s. Another Day Gone By is the 6 horse. Shout out to Simple Plan. Another day is going by. I'm thinking about you all the time. That was one of my whiny high school bands that I used to love all the time rocking out. Because then I could like pretend that my whiny voice could kind of match up with their whiny, like punkish sort of voices. Another day gone by, Sniper was racing up at Laurel last time out. Actually, it was in a small stakes race. And I don't really have a whole lot of problems with what this horse has done in his career. Her career, excuse me. She's a 2-year-old filly. She debuted up at Presque Isle. She's been on the synthetic at Presque Isle. What's kind of cool about her is look at all of the different types of courses that she's been on in her 8 races. So she's been on a synthetic at Presque Isle. She's been on a good dirt course at Saratoga. She's been on a good turf course at Laurel. She's been on traditional fast dirt at Timonium, and she's been on a sloppy track at Laurel. Like, for a 2-year-old filly who's only raced 8 times, she's been on dirt, turf, and synthetic. She's been on off turf and off race tracks too. That's a lot to throw at a 2-year-old filly like this. And you know what? She's performed admirably in just about every one of those races. I just think she's really honest, and she went a little longer last time out going a mile. She showed positional speed. Now she cuts back. She's not really quick. She'll be sitting off the pace a little bit more, but this will give her a little bit more punch. And you know what? Her dirt race on August the 28th, that was the race where she broke her maiden. That was going 6.5 from the rail. She ran really well that day. She had to use a little bit more speed to flee the rail. I think she's in a good spot here. I think the 6 Another Day Gone By fits pretty well with this group. I'm giving her a look at 5-1.
You know, that race has a high chaos factor. There's a lot of speed in there. And even the prohibitive favorite, Awesome Pick, is speedy. So usually when that happens, especially at Gulfstream, it could get really wild because, you know, you'll see horses just barreling down the middle of the track at a huge price that on a normal, you know, day-to-day basis wouldn't. When these races heat up front, you get all kinds of wild things that happen. So this is a good race to take a shot.
And I got one of those for you a little later on at Gulfstream Park today. One that I'm hoping is going to be doing just like what you're saying there. They heat up and just comes flying. So let's talk about the 6th race. I've got one in the 6th, and we can continue on at Gulfstream. We'll finish up with Del Mar for Saturday. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Remember, head to Stable Duel. Download that app. It's totally free. You can play in these daily Stable Duel contests. I've been trying to post reminders every day, letting people know what the contest schedule looks like. There's always free games you can play in a few times a week that give you back cash prizes. They don't cost you anything to enter. This is the 6th race, maiden special weights, going 6 on the dirt. I thought the first-time starter, Devil's Cry, was a little interesting in here. He's a 2-year-old son of Good Magic for trainer David Fox. This is a barn that has kind of been pretty sneaky good recently with their first-time starters, too. The barn with recent first-time starters, 2 for their last 6. They won with Living in Paradise at 9-2 back on November the 4th. They also won with Charlie's Wish back on October the 1st. So in the last 6 weeks or so, they've won with 2 of their last 6 first-time starters at prices that are probably going to be comparable to this horse, just under 7-2 and then just over 9-2. So barn can get them ready to rock and roll. And you know what? This is actually the first full for Silver Dollar Diva. Silver Dollar Diva was a winner. She won her 2nd start, showed a little bit of precocity, and we know the sire, Good Magic. If we ever want to check out the family tree, you can click out the past performances here. We know the precocity and how good this one was, who was your Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner, who was a runner-up in the first 2 starts before winning the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, going on to win the Bluegrass, and then was your runner-up in the Kentucky Derby. Good Magic was very, very talented. Your Haskell winner also. So I think good pedigree, capable barn, live jock jumping aboard, 5-1 price. Devil's K for me in here, Sniper, in a kind of a fun maiden special weight race going 6 furlongs.
Yeah, that's a nice little race there. I don't gather we'll see too many good horses come out of here, but there's some decent pedigrees in here that could shake things up a little bit, especially the Practical Joke horse I kind of like a little bit, the 8.
Yeah.
And even the Atlassy, the 5. I think that one's going to take some money though.
I agree. I was going to say the Mishuish. This race is better than I thought it would be for like this time of the year, a race like this.
Yes.
Right? Like, I think we were both kind of getting at that. Like, I don't know if they're going to be a bunch of stakes winners out of here, but I started going through this field. I was like, hey, you know what? This horse is bred pretty well as a little, like, wouldn't be a shock.
Well, you have to kind of take this with a grain of salt, because like a horse like the 10, right? You see Calumet, Pletcher. They probably don't want to win this race. They want to wait until later on or after New Year's during the quote unquote championship meet.
Better purses,
better purses. He'll be able to stretch out.
More options.
Right, exactly. So, you'll get these kind of races where it might be kind of a prep for a bigger race, and you'll get horses like Devil's K, or Devil's Key that can win these races because everybody else isn't trying to win.
Let's continue along. We'll go to races 8 and to race number
10.
9.
Oh, race 10. 10.
Oh, race 10.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I
8
put
for
9
me.
in the chat, but it's 10.
8 for me, and then 10th for Barry. So race 8, we're going to the dirt. And when we were talking about horses coming flying late, I know we don't get that as much on the dirt. That's more of a synthetic thing. But I am hoping we get a horse to come flying late in this race, because on paper, I'm looking at a good amount of speed. The 1 is really quick. I would not be shocked to see the 2 stretching out from sprint races to be right on the lead. Remember, they're going the 1-turn mile here. So the 1 and 2 are both fast. The 3, Towser, comes out of sprint races at Keeneland when they're right on the lead. They're very, very fast also. You've got Ninja Abario, who's actually been on the lead sprinting. Last time out was in the slop. I think they will probably want to be close to it in here too. Poima, very quick. They want to be right on the front end. And awfully fast on the outside, comes out of a sprint. When they were going the mile 2 starts back, they were sitting right there. I think they'll be going pretty quick in this race. And the horse who I keep coming back to is a cut below the rest of this field based on what she's done, but it's the number 4 Running Legacy. She's 15-1 on the morning line, and she won her debut going long on the synthetic. Following that, she was off for a few months. She showed back up on March the 16th in the tough time at Gulfstream Park, where it's really difficult there. The races are very, very competitive. She ran into a horse named Beechnut Trophy, who's pretty good. Beechnut Trophy was 3rd in a stakes race. And
I don't even want to tell you about this horse, man.
That you needed that one that day, I remember, right? Yeah, I think we both did. We both did.
I'm
pretty
sure. Sanibel Island Stakes.
Yep.
That horse should have won.
Waiting and had a bunch of trouble, and they tried to duck in between late. Yep.
Dude, that race where My Philly Tour won, it was unbelievable. Beechnut Trophy I singled that horse in the pick 6 that day.
So I'm sorry for bringing that one up for the Sniper Beechnut Trophy. But from a class standpoint, when we're looking at Running Legacy and we see Beechnut Trophy, and then in career start number 3, we see Kathleen O. They took a shot in the Gulfstream Park Oaks against Kathleen O.
You see Blustery in there.
Yeah, who was a multiple. You do see Blustery in there. Yeah. And Kathleen O was a multiple graded stakes winner and went on to run in the Kentucky Oaks. So following that, we go back to the synthetic going long with Republic, a couple other races on the synthetic. Honestly, these races were probably a little too tough. That's really what it was. And combine that with too tough and her running style. Look at the fractions of the first quarter mile of every race that she's run. She's never been in a race where they went less than 24 seconds to the first quarter. They're doing that in this race.
Easy.
I can promise you that. I don't know if she's good enough to win this race, but I can promise you she is going to get a setup that is probably going to be the best setup she's ever got in her career.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but if if I'm Saffie Joseph, I'm sending the 3
so
as
hard
as I
as possible,
possibly
and
can.
that's why another great reason for this horse is that you want to use both of them, but Towser's going, and there's got to be 2 or 3 others that are going. Like, I really get a feel for Running Legacy getting the best trip she's ever had, where she'll finally be able to sit back, have a bunch of horses go quick, set it up, and she can come running. Is she good enough? I don't know, but we're going to get rewarded.
Give her a shot. Gotta give
She's
her a shot.
15 to 1. We're going to get rewarded. Running Legacy. I hope she comes running. Feel the rhythm. Feel the ride. Get on up. It's bobsled time. Cool Runnings.
Every time you say that, I think of Pete Aiello.
Oh, yeah.
He like knows all the words to that movie,
Some
dude.
people say, we can't believe Jamaica.
Sanka, you dead?
Yeah, man. I love that. And I was watching, I can't remember what it was recently, and they did that exactly. I think it was, oh no, you know what it was? It was in WWE. It was the New Day. It was Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. They did the like feel the they did the I see pride, I see power, I see a badass mother who don't take no crap from nobody. And there was like the look, and I was like, "Where's that from?" Oh, that's from Cool Runnings, and it was great. So shout out anytime someone can bring some Cool Runnings into the mix, I'm good to go. Let's run to the 10th, my friend. Close us out for our final Gulfstream play for the weekend.
Yeah, this is the bailout play. I think this one's actually really good. This is kind of a stakes race, I guess. I guess it's an overnight, right? It's Florida bred 2-year-old stake. It's called the Juvenile at mile and 70 on the synthetic. I ended up going with number 5, Tigre. And this horse has not really run a bad race on the synthetic. I mean, I guess you could say the last race was a little bad, kind of, but showed a little speed early.
I mean, he was favored too. Yeah,
right.
Like he was favored in that race.
But if you look at the race before, the horse was in a similar race for more money and just missed at $71, 71 to 1.
Yeah.
And if you go back a little further, like even those stretch of 3 races, the horse won on the synthetic, breaking the maiden by 5, comes back in a like an overnight stake, runs pretty good, rallied. That's what you want to do on the synthetic, is you want to close. You don't, it's tough to go wire to wire unless it rains like the day before or day of. The track seems to tighten up a bit, and you can kind of carry your speed, but typically, the speed kind of quits. This is a perfect opportunity here. There's Captain Anthony, number 6, who has some speed. The Big Save has some speed. Maximo will probably need to go to the lead. Dangerous Ride should have some speed, so it should be quick enough up front for this horse to close. And I think this is a really good spot. Whether we get 6 to 1 or not may be another story. I think that the public might catch on to this one and bet this one down to probably half that. But it's still, in Stable Duel, it's a good play because you're not spinning up. Through the windows, 3 to 1 wouldn't be bad on a horse like this to close out a card.
No.
If you like this horse that much, you could single it at the end of a pick 5, pick 4, pick 3 situation, or late double.
Should get a fantastic trip. Tigre, the number 5, 6 to 1 on the morning line, will only cost you 5,000 in your Stable Duel lineup. That's the exact average that you're looking for all the way through. A horse is just like Tigre. Hopefully,
and I'll be upset. I'll have to say I'll seriously be upset if our old buddy Smokin' Bo makes an appearance and wins this race.
Oh yeah, that was your boy.
Because we were waiting for this horse to pop at a price.
Yeah,
and it just didn't happen a couple of times that we played it.
Yep.
But I think he might be another player here, especially getting the bug rider and getting a little break in the weight. 15 to 1 too, but
that is that's Saturday at Gulfstream Park. Let's finish up with Del Mar. for Saturday for Del Mar. I'm going to look at the back part of Del Mar. I've got the 7th, 8th, and 9th. So Barry's going to start us out in races 3 and 5 on the Del Mar Saturday card. So Barry, my man, get us set up for Del Mar's third race while I pull up the past performances for that one.
Yeah, the third race, I mean, I guess it's no secret that I like the turf sprints.
Oh, yeah.
This is a 5 furlong on the turf for optional 80. And what kind of drew me to this race more than just the distance and the surface is there's a lot of speed in here. You have Angel Sense has some speed. You have number 5, Ain't Easy has speed. Lexington Humor, even that's Amare, the outside horse, has some speed and zip, and probably will have to use it to try to get position here. But I ended up on number 6, Christmas Surprise.
This would have been my horse, absolutely, too.
This horse ran a bang-up race in July in the Daisy Cutter at 29-1. Came back in a similar race to this and ran okay, but I think the connections did this horse good by laying him off or laying her off and then coming back here to this spot. Horses run well off the layoff previously. That shouldn't be a concern. Running style absolutely fits with the pace scenario here. So I'd like to give this horse a shot. 5-1, probably get that price, maybe a little less.
She gets off the rail too. Both of her last 2 starts, she was down on the inside where
force the hand.
You're sort of at the mercy of the race shape. Here, she can pick her spot a little bit. And I mean, Barry.
And another thing is the steady work tab. You see September 29th, October 6th, October 15th.
Clockwork.
Bullet on October 26th.
Powell is fantastic.
Yes.
I absolutely love Leonard Powell as a barn because he's never one that gets bet, and he's always their horses are always ready. They're always turned out. They're always prepared. And this is a 4-year-old daughter of All We Want for Christmas. I don't want a lot. We're going to hear that song coming up a lot right now. Mariah is going to be everywhere. Day after Christmas, Black Friday, we are going to hear Mariah all over the place.
All over every store you go into.
I worked for a while at Islands as a waiter. Islands is like a restaurant here on the West Coast, which is burgers and fries, and it's like the Hawaiian themed sort of restaurant. And it's like it's a step up from fast food, but it's not like fine, like fine dining. It's kind of
you got a burger with some pineapple on it.
Exactly, right? Like that kind of thing. It's the burger joint that's right outside the movie theater that you come in and you go get a burger before you go to the movies. But the funny thing about it is I worked in like an outdoor mall, and as soon as that Thanksgiving hits, the next day we're on the satellite radio. So it's only from Christmas, from the day after Thanksgiving to New Year's, it's only Christmas songs, only Christmas themed. And so, you think about it, and it's like, there's some good Christmas songs, but when you have to listen to them for like 7 or 8 weeks, there aren't that many, right? There aren't that many for there to be playing a radio station all day, every day for 8 weeks. So you start hearing it, and man, I know every version of every Christmas song. Like I know every person that's singing it, that's recorded one. Like I've got 5 Oh Holy Night. Oh, on your knee. I mean, I can do it soft, low, high, quick, fast, you name it. I've got Oh Holy Night down for you. Oh, Christmas.
You know what's surprising is to find out, and every year I get surprised is how many people or how many artists have Christmas albums,
Christmas songs, albums, everything.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And so funny. So shout out to I was thinking as a joke one of these years to like do something like that, each day do a Gino's 12 Days of Christmas. I'll drop one on Twitter, like my little version of everything, because like you said, everyone's got a Christmas album. So why not me? Why not me?
Drop one.
Why not us?
I can produce. I'll get in the booth.
There we go. Let's think about it. Let's think about it. Well, it's in the works for the next 6 weeks or so as we head into Christmas. Oh, let's continue along over at Del Mar, because all we want for Christmas is for Xmas surprise to get the victory for the sniper in race number 3.
Yeah, how would you say that as a race caller? Would you say Christmas or would you say Xmas?
I know. Would you say Xmas? Yeah, I guess. Well, you know, I'll listen to what Frank's, because Frank is the one that I trust the most, because I'll tell you, Frank Miramati, he is so diligent in having worked with Frank before and just knowing, and I'm sure most of the other track announcers are the same way, but I don't know personally. I know personally that Frank takes that very seriously. He'll text call everyone to make sure he's got the pronunciation correct. He'll even have a story about it so he knows why. It's like, can I get that used in a sentence, please? Can you tell me the language of origin? You know, like he's the spelling bee
champion.
Exactly. He's asking the owner like everything about each horse just so he's got it for sure. Because there have been plenty of times where I've said a horse's name wrong and he's let me know, or he's given me a message just friendly.
Yeah, that would do me in if I ever were to call races.
Yeah.
The names.
You go to pull it, and that's what ends up happening sometimes. I think you don't realize, like, I'll have been so prepared for everything, and then the last thing you think of is like the name of the horse, right? Because the most important stuff is like why you like the horse, right? Like why, the replay, the chart, like what happened last race. You do all of that, and then you go down and you're like, his name is, oh crap. I'm like,
and dang it.
Oh no. Oh, awkward, as we continue to the 7th race. So that's where I'm headed next. I got a price for you in here, and it's the number 4. It's Lord Sheldon. Honestly, I just didn't really love his trip last time out. He wasn't far behind a lot of the others in this group. He's the number 5 in the race that we're going to be watching right here. And it's not as if you watch this race and it's like overwhelming trouble that he has, but he is a fine start, and then watch him just get kind of crossed over on right here, right? So now all of a sudden the 4 and the 6 kind of shuffle him back, and instead of being like 2 lengths in front, now he's like dead last on the inside, kind of back there, kind of backed up into some traffic. He does cut the corner nicely, and he saves some ground here, but he's kind of, you know, inside about 4 or 5 lengths off here. And he always just sort of has that inside trip. And again, like 2 or 3, we can kind of move along and watch. So he's the 5. It seems like he just keeps getting beat to spots. Like they're just, you know, like, it wasn't like he was bad, but he tried to go in there and he got beat to a spot. Now they angle him to he's going to try to go in between. He doesn't really have room there, and they kind of tip to the outside, and they just sort of wrap up on him late.
I think the word that I'm looking for is nimble.
Yeah.
I think this horse is kind of like a locomotive. You can't really stop him.
No,
or he's not going to be kind of, if he's clear most of that race, he probably is a lot closer to winning.
Mm-hmm. And I think the blinkers coming off will really help this horse, because I think the blinkers with him is the point that you're making. He's not like handy like that.
Right. Yes.
You can't like make like quick moves with him, or like he doesn't have multiple moves. I think you want to just sort of take him back a little bit more and like just try to press the button late and make one late run, get his momentum built up, because honestly, he is not far behind the rest of this group, what it takes to compete with them. You can see that he's got ability in his races. And then, you know what I really love? So the blinkers come off and they put a blowout work into him the other day. They had him go 47-1 for 4 furlongs, which was like a work that you haven't seen really from him. So they just tried.
You ever see Blue Streak with Martin?
Oh, that's a great movie. That is a really,
you know, the part when he's
movie.
when he's driving, when he's pretending to be a cop and he's driving, he's like, sometimes you gotta feed some speed to your ride. You know what I mean?
Oh man,
that's what they did here with that work.
That is,
they're trying to put some speed into this horse.
What's the P52? The P52. We're gonna scrap the
P40s for everyone.
P40s for everyone. Martinez, scrap the P52. Shout out to my buddy David Rea, who is one of my good friends from grade school. We loved that movie. That was one of those that we would watch stop and we would watch it right again over from the beginning. And we knew every line. Oh man, that was a good one. That was a good one. Good old
but that's like what I felt like when you said that, and you see that blowout. It's like they want this horse to lay a little bit closer than he has been.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where watching the race, looking at the blinkers coming off, seeing how competitive this horse has been, but not quite right there, not this over trouble. There's just something sneaky about him.
Yeah, he seems like he's on the verge of doing something nice.
And I'd rather jump on him right now when he's 12-1 before, like, let's say he runs a bang up second. Well, next time he's going to be 7-2 or 3-1, right? And we won't really be able to bet him. Let's try to jump on him before that happens. Let's try to get ahead of the trend here with Lord Sheldon, who is 12-1 on the morning line. Will only cost us $750 in our stable dual lineups. I've got one right next door, and then you're already done, right? You had 3-5. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I've got one right next door. I've got two more to finish up on the Del Mar Saturday card. Let's go to the Cary Grant. Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped you.
Yeah.
I skipped you.
Killing
I skipped
me,
you. I was like, where are we? I skipped you all the way over. Okay, so we're 5 on the turf in here, Sniper. These are the 2-year-old maiden special weights. I almost came to this race, and shout out to our guy, Captain Jack Sparrow, right here. The 3-horse. Talk to us about race number 5, your final Del Mar play of the weekend.
Yeah, there's not much form to go on. You know, like these races sometimes are really kind of guesses. But I did notice that the 8 was coming from Kentucky Downs. Wesley Ward, and probably will take a lot of action. SEAL team, Mandela's not really spectacular first time out. It's not like he can't do it. It seems like he doesn't look to do it. So you got those horses that are going to take some money. You have the 5 who's going to also take some money, who has had opportunities to win first time out and then the last time. So I'm kind of against the horses that
are going to take money.
So that leaves me with number 7.
I knew you were going.
And I don't even know how to even say that. The Z. I don't even know how to say that.
And the worst thing is that we don't even have a track announcer to go off of.
Zia Tanejo. Zihua Tanejo.
Yeah, I was gonna say I want to get the Hua in there, right? Yeah. Zihua Tanejo. Yeah, I feel like, but who knows? Talk to us about the why.
The why. It's kind of, it's kind of a feel thing. I know Collected wasn't like a turf savant or anything. He did win on the grass, but there's some, pedigree on the mom's side where there's a debut winner and a turf winner. So with that being said, that's kind of the feel you get for this race. I mean, you kind of have to dig into the pedigree a little bit to come down to these kind of horses. And that's why I took the 7, 8-1 in good hands with Mark Glatt, getting one of the better turf riders out there in Rispoli. And I think this one is live.
Zihuatanejo is what it looks like.
Okay.
A beach in Mexico, or like a city in Mexico that's like a beach city down there. It's supposed to be very, very beautiful. As I do my quick Wikipedia research there on Zihuatanejo. It's not like I'm like I'm not trying to pretend like I'm some Zihuatanejo expert.
You're a connoisseur.
I was going to say, I know the area. The local fishing is excellent down there. Sniper.
Yeah, we go on the Bonita run down there.
Yeah, the foliage around this time is fantastic. As we continue along, I think if you're playing this race, you have to use this horse in like a pick 4 or pick 5 or something like that. Because for the reasons that you said, I'm not in love with I think the 3 horses that you mentioned that are probably going to take money. Like if the 8, 9, or 5 beats me at a shortish price, okay, I can understand. I actually would prefer the other horse that I mentioned, the 3, Captain Sparrow. Like I wouldn't mind throwing that one.
Same barn too.
Yeah, with some good turf pedigree. So I think they've got a live hand in here with both the 3 and the 7, and it kind of shows you how live they are when you get Rispoli and Hernandez jumping on there too, right in here. So that's race number 5. Let's move to race number 8 with the Cary Grant. And in this race, Big City Lights is going to take a ton of money, as is the Chosen Vron. Those are the two that will take the bulk of the money. None Above the Law, between those three will probably be the third choice, but there'll be short prices in here. But for Stable Duel, the horse that's really interesting to me is actually the number 2, Coalinga Road. This guy has done so little wrong in his career when you go through his entire career. He's just not like a win machine. And he actually has been facing Open Company as of late. He was just going 1 mile and 1/8 up at Fresno in a stakes race, and he came running late. The race has already come back live. The third place finisher came out of that race to win. But what I like about him is he won at 5.5 furlongs. So it's not like he's a stone cold closer who cutting back from like route races is going to have no chance in here. This is a trip that he likes. If you see, he's a 5 furlong turf winner. Again, he's a 5.5 furlong winner on the dirt. And his races when he's sprinting are better because he has more late punch. He can come running late. So now, after facing Open Company, and look, like Prince Obama was third against Graded Stakes Company. Goliad, that's a legitimate horse. You liked Goliad. Like, that's a stakes caliber horse. And these are Open Company races. Now back in against Calbreds. Is a horse like Big City Lights good? Absolutely. Is the Chosen Vron good? Absolutely. This horse is kind of sneaky. He will come rolling late. He's not going to cost you much in Stable Duel. And I actually think he has a legitimate shot to compete with these. The key to the race is, can anybody push Big City Lights? I mean, on paper, he is by far the horse to catch and beat. I'm just hoping that they try to use the Chosen Vron. He has speed like they used it on September the 17th to make sure Big City Lights didn't get away too much. I think they do that again. And if they do, that helps a horse like Coalinga Road, bringing him into this race. I don't know if he's good enough or he needs a perfect type of trip, Barry, but he's not far below, and he's a great price. Like in Stable Duel, building our lineup, he'll cost me $750 versus these other horses who I could not use at their prices.
Yeah, this is an interesting race because, it's hard to gauge what kind of strategy is going to be used by whom. Because I technically they all can kind of dispute the lead if they really want to.
Absolutely. With horses like this, because they're all talented, they're in a stakes race here. Like at this level, for the most part, they can show speed if they want to.
Especially in a small field,
Yeah,
like this.
You have to a lot of the time. Yeah,
right.
Just to keep up. So the key to the race is, can somebody besides Coalinga Road be the horse putting pressure? And that will help Coalinga Road, as long as he doesn't have to be the one doing the dirty work, trying to press Big City Lights, and then he can come running. So Coalinga Road in a small field won't cost you a whole lot to use in your Stable Duel lineup. It's only a field of 5. He'll come rolling. Let's see if he can at least hit the board, but I think he can compete with this group, Coalinga Road. Final one to finish up, and I had to do this. I had to do it. It's the bailout race. Bailout Barry. We got to go to the Urban Fairy Tale.
There you go.
We got to go to Urban Fairy Tale right here to this 5-year-old mare who comes into the Pipey barn for the first time. You know what I like about her? It's kind of just a few simple things. Like, it's just toss the April race for her, right? And we throw out that race back at Keeneland, and that was the first start in 6 months. Other than that, what do we have wrong recently? A couple good races over at Colonial, and I think because they were against Virginia bred, she might get dismissed a little bit. You know what? The horse who beat her in that race, Tass, this is a 6-time winner. Like, Tass would be a major player in here. After winning that stakes race, Tass went on and was 4th in back-to-back graded stakes races at Aqueduct, in back-to-back grade 3s. So, like, that's a fine horse in Tass. Right before that, we had another race against fine company in Mauclair's, where, you look at Mauclair's, and this is a horse who, following the victory was in the stakes race with Tass, and then most recently finished third in a race at Hawthorne against Optional 40. Like, I think it's a pretty good fit for this one in this spot. Urban Fairy Tale comes in from Colonial, comes into the Mike Pipey barn, and I really think they're going to sit a nice trip in here. That's what I like running style wise. Should just put herself right in the race here. The number 7 Urban Fairy Tale, the bailout race.
I actually stayed away from this race for one reason and one reason alone, because I do think the 5 horse is really tough in this spot.
Katie Katana is an absolute use for me in pick 4s and pick 5s.
Yeah, I mean, especially off of that last race. I mean, the horse was stuck on the outside and rang up, bang up third. I could only think that the horse is just going to springboard off of that. But yeah, I mean, it looks. I like that Cold Exacta.
Let's see if we can get the Urban Fairy Tale home for me, for my man, the Urban Handicapper, the sniper out there. Another beautiful Friday. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, buddy, for the 90 minutes or so. Thanks so much to everyone out there for hanging out with Barry and for myself. Shout out to our buddy Matt DeSantis. He'll be back with us in the next few weeks. We'll let everybody know coming up. I'm still debating. We'll check our schedules. We're not sure quite yet if we'll be back for next week for Friday. It's Thanksgiving weekend, so I know schedules are different for everyone. We'll keep it play it by ear, and we'll let everybody know over the next few days. If not, we'll definitely be back in a couple weeks from now, and we'll continue on that Friday, 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern time. We'll be here with you every week. We'll set you up for the Stable Duel schedule for the weekend. Remember the no chalk zone, always. Anytime you can, look for the prices. That's how you are going to be successful in this game. Any big plans for you this weekend, my man?
Nope. Staying warm. Trying to stay warm. We got a little cold spell here in Florida, but be hanging out.
Kick back, enjoy, stay warm, and you and the family, you take care.
Hey, how was the birthday? How was my man's birthday?
Man, it was good. We are 3 now. We've got
big boy.
Boys, I was pretty pumped because he has a brand new bed now. New big boy bed. Buzz Lightyear and Woody. Man. Yeah, we got and he loves it. He goes into it. It's his birthday bed, so he's excited about that now.
Good man.
And he's very into all the Toy Story stuff. So I got him one of the Legiz Buzz Lightyear action figures, like just like in the movie. It's got the karate chop.
Yeah,
it's got all the voices.
The buttons. Yeah,
it's got everything like it. So he's pumped. He's got all the Toy Story now. He's got him and Woody. He's got Ham and Rex and Slinky. He's got the whole crew. So and he's starting to sing now. You got a friend in me. He says that when he walks around. So thank you for asking.
That's nice.
We had a good birthday last week. Everyone out there, you have a fantastic weekend. Hopefully you all crush it. You make a ton of money. Get to Stable Duel. They'll keep you entertained all weekend long, and you'll be able to make some money and have some fun action. So we finish up with our good friend, Joey Cleveland, the soothing sounds of Joey Cleveland and our Stable Duel theme song. Good luck this weekend.
Better, you want to spread your pony knowledge wide. Oh, better, I got a place where winning ain't tough to do. You want to be cool, Stable Duel.